All right, guys. So today we're going to talk about the brand new OpenRock S. Now, this is from the company One Audio, and my history with this company, and more specifically in this line of products, is I've had the OpenRock Pro, and this pair gets used almost daily. I've been a huge fan of these. I like the ability it gives you to be aware of all your surroundings. I love the sound that came out of them. So when I saw that the OpenRock S was coming out, it already piqued my interest. I wanted to see where it fit inside the market and really how it stood up against the OpenRock Pro. So we'll talk about some of that. We'll talk about what all comes inside the box and see if it's worth the price. But let's go ahead and start with the price. Now, it says that it retails for $129, which does make it kind of pricey for a company that's not as well known. The company One Audio, you normally see them on Amazon. They're responsible for a lot of headphones. When the wireless headphone market started to just boom, they were one of the biggest sellers on Amazon, so they became fairly popular that way. Now, the OpenRock series, again, it's made more for being active. And with the OpenRock S, I can only assume that the S means sport, mainly because, you know, if you're going to be running, if you're going to be riding a bike, this is the type of earbud you would use because it allows you to hear traffic, or it allows you to hear people talking, or if you needed to cross the road, you could just, again, be more aware of your environment. Now, some things that already stood out about the S over the Pros is the Pros were Bluetooth 5.2, where the OpenRock S comes in at Bluetooth 5.3. It also has two different modes that you can switch between as far as listening goes. It has a rock mode, which is made to boost the low end a little bit more, and then it has a relaxed mode. So it's trying to calm that down. So the bass is a little more tame in the relaxed mode. I didn't notice that it did anything with the mids and the treble. Now, as far as the drivers, it is using a 16.2 millimeter driver, and it's using what they call tube bass. So it says that it has boosted bass. So if you're going into this expecting like a boomy, just overly, you know, exaggerated bass, you're not going to get that because that's just not what this style of earbuds really capable of doing. But again, we'll talk about that once we get to the sound. Now, moving to looking at the case and the earbuds themselves, the case is large. It actually looks like a sunglasses case because it's so long. It's not really thick. It's kind of flat, and this, I believe, is going to be because of the battery that's in this. And the battery is really impressive on both the case and the earbuds, because on the earbuds, you can get 19 hours on a single charge, where with the case, you can get 60 hours total, which basically means you will not be charging these often. Now, if you do happen to pick these up and they are dead, it does have a fast charge feature where a 5-minute charge will get you an hour's worth of use. And I like seeing that in a pair like this because of it being for being active or going outdoors. If you're just about to walk out the door and you pick them up and they're dead and you're going for a run, being able to throw them on the charger for 5 minutes and get that hour worth of use definitely is going to come in handy. And then as far as the design of the earbuds, it is just all black. There's nothing fancy. There's nothing that makes them stand out, which I'm a huge fan of. It does have silicone right at the top, which is what, you know, touches the bridge of your ears. And it's an extremely comfortable pair to wear. It's a pair that you can wear all day. I never felt like I needed to adjust these. I never felt like they were moving. It never irritated my ears. And I could also wear them while I was wearing glasses. So if you're somebody that wears glasses and you're looking at these, that's not something to be concerned about. And again, it's going to be something that you would want to wear all day because of its design. You could wear them at work and interact with people and still just listen to what you're listening to. And speaking of that, as far as the sound leakage goes, I was able to listen to these at about 50% volume before I felt like, you know, anybody around me could probably hear like a faint sound of what I'm listening to. So it does a really good job of just keeping the sound right there in your own little bubble. If you are going to be in an environment where there's a lot of people, you don't have to worry that it's going to bother the people around you. And again, that's a huge plus because of this design. Now, as far as actually controlling these and using them, they do use touch controls, but sadly, they don't let you control everything. There's no volume control in here, which I'm kind of confused. They could have added a volume rocker or at least added another touch function. So as far as the controls you get play, pause, your ability to skip your tracks forward and go backwards, and then you can switch it into that rock or relaxation mode. And again, I just feel like volume is missing. I don't want to pull out my phone to always adjust the volume. I like to do it from the earbuds themselves. Now, as far as using these for microphones, this is another area where I feel like they have upgraded from the Pro. It's using 4 beamforming mics, and it's also using AI for call noise reduction. So if you're going to be in a noisy environment and you need to block out people talking or whatever is going on around you, these actually do a pretty decent job with it. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. So here's the mic test using the OpenRock S, and as you can tell, it picks up my voice fairly well. I don't notice a whole lot of digital noise. I don't notice that it's adding a lot of warmth. So this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here's the mic test for the crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's talk about the sound. The sound on these are extremely clear, it's clean, it's detailed, and the bass is slightly punchy. This, again, I think if you read the marketing and the advertisement as far as Amazon goes, where it said it has the tube bass and it has this boosted or extra bass, I think you're going to go into it thinking it's going to have this subwoofer type bass, and it just doesn't. It does have a nice quick punch to it. Again, it makes it feel pretty accurate if you're going to be listening to chaotic genres or even pop or hip hop. So it does really well if you're going to just listen to a bunch of genres. But just, again, don't go into it expecting that subwoofer type bass. It's going to hit you and it's going to move on. And again, what that's doing is really just allowing these to be detailed. And vocalists, no matter what genre, always stood out. In fact, I felt like vocalists were pushed a little forward, not necessarily where they're right there in front of you, but just enough where it doesn't get buried in the mix. And kind of the same thing with the treble. The treble's nice and clean, but it's not bright, it's not harsh. It's there to just bring out a lot of the details. And again, it does really sound good across all genres, but it really excels with podcasts and TV shows and movies. And again, I think that kind of caters to what these are designed for. If you're going to use them in a work environment and you listen to podcasts all day, you're not going to have any issues hearing people talking. If you're going to use them for watching TV shows, it's going to pick up dialogue really well. Now, when it comes to the soundstage and the sound imaging, this shouldn't be too much of a surprise, but because of the design, they sound very open. And being able to tell where different sounds and everything's coming from, this pair absolutely handles with no issue. So really, my overall opinion is this. Yes, at $129, there's some pretty stiff competition out there. We've even checked out some recently from Soundcore, but at the sale price of $79, I feel like it already competes with the ones that are $100 plus. So the $79 I feel like is a really good deal. But if you're looking at these between the Pros that they already have out, where I feel like they had the advantage is this has Bluetooth 5.3, so it does a really good job of cutting down lag with different types of media. The battery life is slightly better, especially because of the case that you're getting. Having those two different listening modes is nice because, maybe you don't want the bass, or maybe you do want it to just tone it down where you can relax a little bit. And it's nice that it has that built in. They do have better mics. I feel like the OpenRock S is better for phone calls than the Pros. You do lack aptX playback, which you get with the Pros, but in an open ear style design earbud, I don't really know how much that actually matters. I feel like that matters more with earbuds that have ear tips or something where you're getting a better seal. And then outside of that, I feel like the bass response is slightly better in the OpenRock S. So I do think it's kind of surprising that they do have a model that's out there called the Pro. And I feel like the S kind of has the advantage in everything over the Pro except the Bluetooth codec that you're getting with the Pro. So I feel like there's a lot of value in the S. I definitely feel like it competes with a lot of the open air style design earbuds that are in the market. And again, I think there's some really good value in this pair, and it's an easy one to recommend. But guys, that's my video on the OpenRock S Sport earbuds or open ear. I don't really know how to categorize these, but thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.